Mercedes Mone haters have gone too far, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it, and we're going to address it in today's video. So I'm calling y'all out. Now, this is coming from a Mercedes Mone supporter, a fan, if you will, someone who has watched her journey from WWE to New Japan to AEW, who has sat and watched her product. Yes, her product, because she's a brand. She's a businesswoman, right? She's not just a wrestler. She's a wrestler, an actress, a model, and someone that has driven products and done very well for herself. As Mercedes Mone continues to evolve, continues to progress, well, her AEW tenure has done so as well. Because when she walked out of WWE, it was a big deal. She had creative differences with Vince McMahon. Her and Naomi, they walked out. They did not like the creative in which was pitched to them by Vinnie Mac. Ultimately, negotiated their WWE releases. Monet went to New Japan, did really good things there. Naomi obviously went to TNA, returned to WWE in 2024. Now, Mercedes, she has come under fire multiple times throughout her career. This is nothing new, but there's something about AEW that just, I don't know, makes people lose their minds, makes them just very not likable people. And so when Mercedes Mone showed up in March of 2024, it was a big deal. Because Mercedes Mone had reportedly signed one of the biggest contracts in all of wrestling, making her the highest paid, reportedly, woman in all of women's wrestling. She did so with the idea being that she would bring in outside viewers, outside eyeballs. I think Mercedes Mone has not necessarily done that, but it also is not fair to put all of the blame on Mercedes Mone, considering the state of AEW, where all metrics are down: television, viewership, attendance, just social media engagement. Overall interest is down. And Mercedes Mone, sure, she had her growing pains. There's a lot of criticism of her promos. There's a lot of criticism that they brought her in, but she could not wrestle for multiple weeks. Now, her promos have gotten better, and obviously she has returned to in-ring action a long time ago. But as we approach 1 year since Mercedes Mone has made her arrival, she's been a very dominant champion, and that's what you had anticipated when she signed on the dotted line. You're not going to bring in someone of talent like Mercedes Mone, a star power Mercedes Mone, and more importantly, a contract of Mercedes Mone, and just not use her or have her just be booked to get beat by everyone, right? She's been a long dominant champion. She's held the TBS championship for over 200 days. And I've seen this comparison, and this is where the haters, in my opinion, have gone way too far. They have been comparing her to Charlotte Flair. Now, that I don't have a problem with. But calling her the Charlotte Flair version in AEW, in the sense of she is being booked just like a Charlotte Flair, where regardless of what she does, regardless of her promo, regardless of her work rate, regardless of anything, regardless if there's a rising star in the division, they always put Charlotte Flair over them. Case in point, Charlotte Flair just won the Royal Rumble. She's likely going to be challenging Tiffany Stratton for the Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton, a up-and-coming, a new star. She's going to get dethroned by Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. We all know that. With Mercedes Mone, I don't think she's in that same category. I don't think that you should put the doom and gloom under, or over, I should say, Mercedes Mone's head, or under her name, like you would a Charlotte Flair, or a Roman Reigns back in the day, or a John Cena, where regardless of whether they were getting good reactions or bad reactions, regardless of whether the fans were tired of them or not, they would never change their personality. They would never change their gimmick. It was over and over, the same thing. Rinse, cycle, and repeat. There was no progression, and there was no star-making ability. With Mercedes Mone, I think she's quite different, because she has, I think, elevated Chris Statlander following their 2-match series that ended up on pay-per-view, which were highly praised. You look at a Stephanie Valker. She had a banger of a match with Stephanie Valker, one of her, in terms of Mone's first great AEW matches in June of 2024 at Forbidden Door. And Valker not only got interest from WWE and AEW, but she ultimately signed with WWE and has been used as a prominent star in WWE and NXT. So she has elevated stars. She has gotten better with her promos. They're not as wacky and really robotic and almost like script-like type promos that does not resonate, does not make a lot of sense. And her matches have gotten a lot better. She's arguably one of their best performers there. She's hands down their best women's star there. And she's probably the best women's in-ring worker going on right now. You cannot lump her into the same category of a Charlotte Flair, who is great, but she's not as great as she once was. She has taken a step back, right? She did so even before her injury, when she tore her ACL, MCL, and meniscus in December. So don't put Mercedes Mone in the same category as Charlotte Flair. Just don't do it. I think Mercedes Mone being TBS champion is a little bit of a hindrance, because when they brought her in, Toni Storm was doing really, really good things for her timeless Toni Storm character. And you obviously didn't want to break the momentum of that. And you knew that they were going to be going towards Mariah May and Toni Storm feuding. And ultimately that's what they did. Mariah May beat Toni Storm, won the Women's Championship at All in London. And so you could not necessarily bring in Monet and make her your women's champion, but you also felt inclined to make her a champion. And they had the TBS title, and the TBS title has mostly been used in a prominent way outside of a few names. Obviously, Jade Cargill put that title on the map, the longest reigning champion over 500 days, their inaugural champion. And Monet is at 255, or around there, depending on when you hear this video. And so I think it wasn't necessarily like, here's a second place prize. It was, hey, here's a championship. We've had prestigious champions in the past. We're looking for you to make it prestigious once again, kind of thing. And I think she's done very well with the championship. But I also think that there is a gap between the TBS championship, which is mostly a secondary women's championship, compared to the actual women's championship. So that's something in which you need to acknowledge. And maybe it is time to have Mercedes Mone drop the championship here in the near future, and then ultimately go to the women's championship once Toni Storm and Mariah May are done. Like, that would be a good little catalyst. That would be a good little ping pong type action where, have Monet lose a championship, and then by the time that she does, you already have Toni Storm, which I anticipate, already beating Mariah May. She's in her women's championship reign. And then that gives her another opponent, and a top tier opponent, and a heel opponent. And then have Monet dethrone her, because you don't necessarily need another long Toni Storm run, right, as women's champion. That's how I would do it.